gathering. Thanks also are attributed to the scientific committee for the depth and the revision of our papers. Okay, my presentation today will be titled Translating Political Ambiguity in Arabic, English Discourse, Critical Analysis of Moroccan Political News on Hespres. So this presentation will be groundbreaking because it takes the practical part and juxtapose it into the theory. So first of all, we'll move with the table of contents. So we have the introduction and context, research questions and rationale, research theoretical framework, methodology, corpus description, and findings. And the last one is the discussion and conclusion. The introduction. So there is no identical political discourse as the Moroccan one, okay? So I think that Moroccan political discourse in Morocco is shaped by a delicate balance between royal authority, party politics, and public opinion. Ambiguity is frequently used to navigate sensitive topics and maintain cohesion. Hespres, due to its digital reach, provides an ideal site to examine how political language functions and how its translation influences public perception. I don't want this to be visible, the parts in my notes, because I... No? Okay, let's go back to let's carry on this presentation. So we'll discuss political ambiguity in Morocco. So Morocco's hybrid political system means strategic linguistic ambiguity. So we have ambiguity as a culturally embedded rhetorical practice, digital media amplifying political discourse, and Arabic political language in directness, euphemism, and multi-layered meaning. Research question. In this presentation, we try to answer the following questions. First of all, we have how does political ambiguity manifests in Moroccan Arabic news? So my concern here in this presentation is about news politics. Secondo, we have how do English translation maintain, transfer, or reduce ambiguity? And we will see throughout the presentation the forms of ambiguity. The last one is how do translational strategies reveal ideological, editorial agendas? Okay, these are the research rationals. So this study, why this study is important? Because it expands political translation scholarship in Arabic context. It reveals the translators as an ideological actor, or what Venuti said, the translation agency. Third, it demonstrates how bilingual media shape national and international narratives, as our case study is both for national and international audiences. And the last one, it integrates critical discourse analysis within political translation. Okay, why, what, or depends on what backgrounds this study will rely on. So we will build up the study, first of all, on political and strategic ambiguity, that is Shelton. Second, translation agency, we have Venuti and Baker. We have critical discourse analysis, we have Fairclough, 2095, and we have Wodak. And the last one, post-colonial translation. Our research design, I will just go through this quickly because we don't have time. The research design is a qualitative approach combining critical discourse analysis with translation studies. And by the way, we have Fairclough 3 dimensions, textual features, okay, what is appearing in the text. We have discursive practices, and the third one is the socio-cultural context. So what implication does the discourse have on our societies? Also, we have combined or compared parallel Arabic English corpus from Hespress, and that is between 2023 and 2025. The forms of ambiguity that we find. So, first of all, we have strategic vagueness. Okay, this is a form of ambiguity we will see through the presentation. Euphemistic indirectness, polysemy, layered meaning, and implication presupposition. So we have three patterns in ambiguity. I have found three patterns. The first pattern is ambiguity, where it is preserved. Here, some ambiguous Arabic expressions are kept almost exactly the same in the English translation. So we have, I will just go and show you the examples here. So as you may see here in the slide, so we have one of the articles. In the articles we have an example, أعداء وطن من داخلي. So the English translation, enemies from Morocco operating from within. The Arabic meaning, the phrase suggests that some Moroccans or people inside the country are betraying Morocco. But it never tells us who these enemies are in English. Okay, this is an ambiguous expression that is used in media, probably to satisfy international agendas. So they don't want to say who are these enemies. We have the second one is explicitation and reduction. The reduction in English. So as you may see here, I have find that one of the expressions that make me very angry while reading the article is that تقتيل الشعب الفلسطيني, ongoing Israeli attack. If you see and you compare between the two languages, the English make it soft. Okay, they soft the discourse. So it could be killing the Palestinian people in large number instead of Israeli attack. So this is probably used in media to satisfy the international agendas or editorial agendas. So here we have the English version is much softer, less emotional, and removes the idea of killing. Why they remove the idea of killing? Attacks. Attacks is not like killing. Okay? We have here one of the examples in the article is أوهام salam. It's a illusion of peace. So very emotional metaphor. English illusion of coexistence. So I have a question. Peace is not coexistence. تعايش ماشي هو سلام. So if you say, for example, تعايش, so here you are implying the colonial discourse, which means that Israel have a part in the Palestinian territory. Okay? So we have another, probably other patterns. We have manipulation and reframing. So here we have here I would like to emphasize on always on the Israeli case. So we have here مقال ابتزازي لصالح Israel. So a blackmail article in favor of Israel. So here we have strong message in Arabic. Israel is explicitly named, and we have blackmail is very harsh accusation. So the English version, why the English version? An unfair and dangerous attack. What is changed? Blackmailing is not as the same as unfold and dangerous. Dangerous is not like blackmail. We have here, I will just go directly to the translation agency or conclusion. Okay. So I would like just to mention one thing that is very important, is that ambiguity or lubs is never neutral. Okay, it's never neutral. So ambiguity is there to satisfy one part over the other parties. Okay? So we have here ambiguity becomes a tool of power, especially in media discourse. In the conclusion, so if you can read my article on the joint book, the Kitab al-Jama'i, you can find this in details because we don't have much time. So one of the key findings here is that ambiguity is often preserved. يتم الاحتفاظ باللبس واللبس لأغراض probably سياسية. Okay. Secondo, we have sometimes reduced to fit international diplomatic discourse. Okay. So for diplomacy, so we can say, for example, killing, and we say attack to satisfy one parties over the other parties because probably we have relations with the others. Okay, we have third, frequently reframe. So we reframe the discourse to meet, some agendas, and we have the translator act as a political agent. So when you translate, so you change the meaning. You probably sabotage the intended meaning. You destroy the intended meaning. Or probably you reframe it to another intention. And what I see here, I'm a researcher of PhD researcher in discourse analysis, and I focus on Moroccan discourse because I believe that there is no identical discourse as the Moroccan one. In politics, they are very, very smart, and you know this. So what I see that is that his press operates within a dual strategy or dual audience strategy. Sometimes it targets تستهدف in Arabic audience in Morocco, and sometimes it goes beyond and satisfy the international audience, especially when it comes to some of the issues, when it comes to Israel and the West America, Pan-Africanism and this. So one last point is that this study confirms that translation in Morocco media is deeply political. Translation in Moroccan media in Morocco is political. Ambiguity becomes a flexible resource, mobilized differently in Arabic and English to situate Morocco's geopolitical narratives at home, here and abroad. Okay, this is my presentation. I wish I could give more examples, but because of the time and let's just call it the presentation. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, c'est Jeanne. Et voilà, il devait modérer, c'est un petit peu provoquer de temps à autre. Je suis vraiment désolée. Alors donc sur voilà donc se termine donc cette séance, comme je vous ai dit, qui était un tout petit peu différente. Les interventions étaient, on avait donc quelques interventions en français, une dernière intervention en anglais. Merci aux organisateurs d'avoir permis ce moment d'échange. Et sans transition, je passe la parole donc à Monsieur Suleiman Zine Abidine qui va modérer la séance qui suit. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah.